Hey guys, Kevin Cage back with another cryptocurrency update. Welcome to the channel. Like and sub if you're serious about the digital asset space, and let's get right into it today. One take and uncut. So right here, Temenos. So we see trusted by over 3,000 banks in over 150 countries. We will go over them. I know we've talked about them countless times at this point, but guys, easily integrated with RippleNet and utilizing XRP. We've seen their documents. We've seen a lot of proof, and I'm going to go over one of the best threads that I think has ever been seen. Me personally, it's definitely in my top 10 favorite threads. But before that, I want to go over Bob Way and some quotes that he's actually had. He was one of the original, first 5 or first 10 employees of the company Ripple when they were founded. So super, super interesting. You guys got to hear it. Again, he's gone. He's kind of disappeared this past year. Kind of eerie. I'm not sure if someone, has... of course he has NDAs, but I'm not sure if someone was like, hey, stay hush hush, stop talking to YouTubers and going on live streams and answering questions on video and things of that nature. But I personally trust Bob Way. I find his interesting, I find his points fascinating, and I think he's a very, very smart individual. So right here, ExNew is sharing some screenshots. This is on xrpchat.com. This used to be a really active platform. Of course, most of this is, 2019, 2018, and even way back when, of course, even with David Schwartz on Reddit back in the day as well, CTO of Ripple. So right here, look what Bob Way said, and look at the examples he used, and then put it together with that article about the Marshall Islands. So check this out. So these are all quotes by Bob Way. And yes, I'm going to read it because it's interesting. So geopolitically speaking, one of the weirdest things about banking is how the international relationships are structured. This is true, especially among the smaller countries. Take a random made-up example. Say Alice lives in Barbados and wants to do a business transaction with Bob in St. Lucia. It is just a standard two-party business deal for services rendered, but Alice uses BBD and Bob uses XCD, and we're just talking about currencies. So how do their banks settle that transaction? Well, it turns out in many cases, they use the US dollar. And I know that doesn't make sense, but just listen. That sentence sounds pretty sensible, not earth-shaking to anyone. But how does that really work? And this is what we're going to, this is what I wanted to say doesn't really make sense on the back end. Well, it turns out that the important banks in Barbados keep correspondent accounts with a large U.S. bank. Let's say Citi in this case, and some large bank in St. Lucia also keeps a correspondent bank account with a U.S. bank. Let's say Bank of America in that case. So we got Citi and BOA. The settlement actually happens by the Barbados bank telling Citi to wire money through the Fedwire system to the St. Lucia's account at B of A, or Bank of America. These requests are transmitted via SWIFT. And again, feel free to pause it and read this yourself. Next. But the crazy thing is that U.S. law says that both Citi and Bank of America need to screen the transaction between Alice and Bob for compliance with the U.S. laws. If a bad transaction slips through, both Citi and Bank of America can be fined huge amounts. So in effect, whether Alice in Barbados can do business with Bob in St. Lucia becomes dependent on whether or not U.S. banks want to even allow it, even though the transaction does not involve U.S. jurisdiction at all. And that's what I was referring to. I was kind of getting ahead of myself. That's what's very, very odd to me. Now, the side effects of the U.S. banks' risk in these transactions is that they've started closing the correspondent banking accounts for entire countries. The risk is just seen as too high for the reward fees and they can charge. This is called, in banking jargon, the de-risking problem. Now, with XRP, a bridge currency like XRP changes the dynamic dramatically. Transactions that don't involve the US or other third parties don't have to travel through their systems to settle at all. That allows people to stop jumping through third-party regulatory hoops and just get on with doing business. I hope that counts is geopolitical. Right here. So with that as a background, keep an eye on Japan, India, Mexico, and Canada. Then I'd start looking for large markets in South America and East Asia. All right. So of course, East Asia, we're seeing Singapore. We're seeing them just become a huge tech and fintech hub. We see South America, of course. We know Brazil's going on. We know Argentina. Even Peru with Interbank Peru using on-demand liquidity. All right. Now, as I mentioned in a previous post, any countries that are current clearing payments through U.S. banks, any countries that are current clearing payments through U.S. banks but are at a risk of de-risking account closure are very good candidates to use XRP. This allows them to disintermediate the correspondents looking to de-risk them. Found that very interesting, guys. I'm looking forward to hear some of the very smart people that, send me emails and talk to me on a daily basis. I kind of want to hear their point of view with this as well. All right, next, here we go. So I am Legion, guys. Absolute follow on Twitter. I am Legion. You can look XRP or again Python 268-49860. Great researcher. Check this out. So we're talking about Accenture. This is the massive group. They're teamed up with not only Ripple, but they help R3. They help Swift. They help a lot of these groups, even Temenos, with digital transformation. Specifically right now, of course, they're in almost every sector. We're talking about DLT, distributed ledger technology, and future adoption for payments, guys. Now watch. Ripple, here's some screenshots. We're going to go through each group. So right here, Accenture entered into an alliance with Ripple in 2015. Ripple provides the only enterprise distributed financial tech to banks that enables faster cross-border payments, delivering real-time certainty for every settlement. Next, we got Swift in 2016. Swift and Accenture outlined path to distributed ledger technology adoption with financial services. Keep in mind, this is in reference to specifically not only messaging, we're talking settlement, and that is where XRP is the key component. This is where all the savings, this is where all the benefits, this is where all the removal of friction comes from. This is why I'm so bullish. And I'm not talking about, hey, Kevin, why did XRP? Why is it at 15 cents? Why is it at 25 cents if it's going to be, 3 digits or 4 digits someday? Guys, it's just not being used right now. We're waiting for regulation. This is why I'm making videos, and I try to, make a video on a daily basis because I'm so bullish and I can't wait until this thing moons and takes off. And then I look back at the hundreds of videos I've made with, only, a very few people actually listening and doing their own research, taking responsibility and taking initiative to, even put $100 in because the upside is just so high. And I don't even think, even if I convinced 1 million people to, buy XRP, I really don't think it's going to move the market that much. I'm literally waiting on the billions and trillions of dollars via utility. That is what I'm banking on. Right? All of the, anywhere from 9.6 to $27 trillion in pre-funded accounts being released. And then, of course, all of the, 30%, 50% savings from operational efficiency and these other groups reinvesting and then utilizing the network and building, dApps. We got Spring, we got Coil. I mean, we are just getting started. All right, R3, guys, I've told you in the previous video, there's this awesome site to go learn about them. It's spelled GOOGLE.com. Check it out. You're going to learn so much about them again. This is back when it was only 100 banks, but now they are well over 300, just like we've seen Ripple grow. And I mean, arguably, you can say, okay, yeah, Ripple has, 400 employees plus 300 plus partners. But when you look at the, customers and you see the integrations with, Temenos, you see, why am I blanking? Is it Enabler? Just absolute huge group, starts with an F. I mean, you're already having indirectly 10,000 plus customers. If you want to talk about Lian, if you want to talk about WorldPay, if you want to talk about Earthport, there's so many connections. So right here, R3, enterprise software firm working with over 100 banks. Now it's over 300 banks, FIs, regulators, trade associations, professional services firms, and technology companies to develop Corda. This is their open source distributed ledger platform. And guys, keep in mind, can settle with XRP. Have to say it in every single video. All right. 2017, Accenture entered into an alliance with R3. So we got Ripple in 2015. We got Swift with an outline for DLT in 2016. Now 2017 with R3. And right here is a preferred implementation provider for its Corda platform. And then what happened in, was that 2018 or was that 2019? It was 2018 when XRP was named to be, the first digital asset on the Corda platform to be settling payments. Now right here, we got Accenture on R3 with Ripple. So right here, Accenture, we got the Ripple doc, the journey to real-time cross-border commercial payments using distributed ledger tech. Now stay with me, guys. There's some people that only watch like the first minute of the video, and if I don't say XRP is going to moon, they don't even watch this, and this is where all the content lies. Look at this. So the Ripple solution for cross-border payments. Well, of course, we already know the benefits. Settling money instantly creates new revenue opportunities through enabling access to new markets and new products such as micropayments. Right? They have proven technology already in operations with banks like Santander, etc. We see it's being implemented by others. We got governments and CB, central banks, are interested and supportive of the tech, of course, already investing billions, well underway. We got, even with the BRICS nation talking about some type of distributed ledger tech to avoid the US dollar reserve currency. We got numerous banks have run internal proof of concepts, including the real transfer of money. We're not talking about sending $100. We're talking about true pilots. Now check this. 30 banks have completed pilots and are actively progressing plans to extend into live operation, including a group of several banks who are forming an alliance to build a cross-border payments network together. These banks are drawn from the top 50 banks globally. Keep in mind, guys, Ripple, we've already gone over out of all of those top 100 banks who's connected with Ripple. You can find this info on xrparcade.com. Everything. These sources are sourced, all right? Broadly configured to enable wide geographic reach with one bank per geography, each with access to local domestic clearing systems, hence connection and the ability to truly settle. All right, this is just, beyond bullish, guys. And of course, 24/7 payments. Of course, we see these groups, cross-border payment network, this true payment landscape in real time for real-time gross settlements. All right. Conclusion, global trade runs at about $24 trillion per year. Now, this is not going to migrate, and keep in mind this document was made, a while back as well. But, guys, this is just absolutely massive. You have to realize the level that we are actually playing on in this, all these talks of these groups. The CEO of R3 cannot talk about Ripple. Yes, you best believe they're working together in some manner. And whether that's, just overall consulting each other with, distributed ledger tech, whether it's integrating their software with these banks and just kind of helping each other, or ideally, since they both own XRP, we're talking billions. And R3, whether they own 5 billion or 1 billion, that is, a huge chunk. They want to see the XRP ecosystem thrive. Right? It is a vested interest. All right, now, right here with Temenos to go on about them. So we can see here, Temenos with Accenture. Accenture is a global certified partner of Temenos. Accenture planned to strengthen its ability to support Temenos core banking software and wealth management implementations and support clients looking to consolidate their systems using the Temenos software suite. Right, and then Hyperledger as well. Of course, we know with the Ethereum platform as well, and the Ethereum, Foundation, an open source collaborative effort created to advance cross-industry blockchain tech. Okay, 130 members hosted by Linux. We've talked about them, including leaders in finance, banking, IoT, supply chain, manufacturing, and tech. And right here with Temenos, the world's number one banking software. All talk about API, AI, cloud hosted, cloud agnostic, I should say, which is awesome. Remember, just like Interledger Protocol, the protocols that are truly agnostic and let whatever work out are built to survive. Now, there was something I wanted to read. Oh, yeah. And look, they even mentioned the DTCC, of course. And this is, well over $1 quadrillion in settlement. I can't believe I missed this. Look at this. Can process more than 100 million trades per day. And we see Accenture, we see DA, Digital Asset, R3, we see all these groups. And guys, DTCC is probably the biggest thing out of them all. But of course, they're right hand in hand with Accenture. And now this just keeps going. Now, there was one thing I'm missing. I'm just drawing a complete blank, but it was such a good point. Oh, well, I will keep going. But anyways, next up, we talked about this whole EcoOna. Remember, Sweden is talking about testing this EcoOna central bank digital currency. Now they announced that it's actually going to be, and I covered this in the video, now they actually announced that it's going to be on the Corda blockchain altogether. This is awesome. If XRP can be the bridge asset in some way, or somehow be, intermingling and, somehow be a bridge asset at some point on the XRP ledger, awesome. Keep in mind, they're going to be building on the platforms with the highest level of security, scalability, and distribution. All right, to create this level playing field. Right here, cross-border interbank payments and settlements. This is Bank of Canada and Bank of England. And then we got MAS, again, the Monetary Authority of Singapore. All three of these groups, RippleNet partners. Right, this is in November of 2018. Do you see what is happening? Interbank. Now remember, intrabank was like JP Morgan coin, JPM coin. But remember, at the World Economic Forum, where the 1% of the 1%, the world's billionaires meet every year to decide, what kind of changes they're making geopolitically with the financial landscape, especially, right? Of course, greenhouse, they talk about everything. But guys, XRP was named is the only example of interbank settlement. Settlement, yes. And when you are settling billions or even trillions, it needs to be a higher value. People say, 100 billion XRP, 50 billion XRP for circulating supply, 40 billion, 43, whatever it's at right now. It doesn't matter. It's not enough to actually move the markets appropriately. You need a higher value to move higher value. And I've talked about this time and time again. All right here, Bank of Canada, again, enabling cross-border high-value transfer using distributed ledger tech. Notice, it's not the internet of value. It's not the internet of small value. It's value. Some, groups consider anything, like $10,000 is still a micropayment, guys. I'm talking about when you are settling $50 million, like through the European systems in the EU, guys, that's happening, every 10 seconds, there's like a $50 million payment. Do you realize what that type of volume would do to the XRP order books if it is even settling a portion of that? Like this is why I'm bullish, and I'm looking long term. All right, powered by Accenture right here, and then JP Morgan. Of course, JP Morgan's expressed interest with Ethereum, and I would too. Looking at building, decentralized applications, distributed applications, these DApps or DApps. And then right here, Project Ubben, Phase 2, reimagining. I almost said imaging. Okay, reimagining interbank real-time gross settlement systems using DLT, November 2017, powered by Accenture. Of course, we got MIS again. And then right here, just to finish off with Project Ubben overall. So digital Singaporean dollar prototype for interbank domestic payments. All right, so domestically, that is the question. Will XRP be served in some way with this? I'm not sure, but look at the network of participants regardless. They're collaborating. HSBC, Citi, Credit Suisse, Standard Chartered, MUFG, Corda, MAS, and then even, of course, Bank of America. Guys, they are all in some way either RippleNet partners, they've either done proof of concepts, or they're already, on RippleNet, using Xcurrent in some degree. Just understand these banks have NDAs. Why would they be bragging about using some private company like Ripple when the time is coming to roll out? I believe it's going to be fast. All right, and then new interoperability solution, Accenture connects Hyperledger Fabric, Corda, Quorum, and DA. Do you see these connections? This is in 2018. Connecting the dots. Notice how quiet it has been. There's things going on. People that are telling you that XRP is going to 15 cents or 20 cents, and there's not going to be a bull run until 2021. It's just a ploy to try to get you to sell. I've seen this time and time again. There are fake people online. There are fake, on any platform. And what I'm telling you is, if I'm a fake person, I'm telling you to do your own research, and you're going to find everything I'm sourcing. Honestly, guys, I am sincere with this message. I have no doubt with XRP. My only question is when. All right, that is when. It's not if. And it's when and how high. And I can tell you that much, that it's going to be significantly more than last time's all-time high. All right, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this Ripple rant. Again, this is all about this whole de-risking problem that Bob Way talked about. It's all about this Accenture tab that I Am Legion Definite Follow did. I really appreciate it, guys. If you guys can give a like and share this around, I really, really appreciate it. And until next time.